You know that feeling, right? When a song just hits you and boom, you're somewhere else entirely.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a specific memory popping up, or it just gives you a lift, or maybe helps you really zero in on something. It's this immediate, almost gut-level connection we have with music. Pretty amazing stuff. So today, we're really going to dive deep into that connection, specifically how music and our cognitive health are, well, intertwined. We've got a really interesting source lined up that talks about melodies for the mind, basically, how engaging with music gives your brain some remarkable benefits. Our goal here? To unpack how music works as, like, a cognitive enhancer. Then we'll get into some practical ways you can actually use its power. And finally, we'll touch on how nutritional support might play a role in complementing all these effects. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, what's really striking is just how universal music's impact seems to be. It's more than just background noise, isn't it? Our source frames it as almost fundamental to our cognitive setup, strengthening what it calls the brain symphony.
Right, and one of the biggest things jumping out from the source is how music boosts memory and recall. I mean, seriously, who hasn't had that moment of knowing every single word to a song you haven't heard in, like, decades?
Yeah.
The source actually calls music a powerful mnemonic device.
Exactly. It's those rhythms, the melodies, the lyrics. They act as incredible hooks for our memories. They link emotions directly to facts, to events. And it's not just remembering song lyrics either. Music can help with both episodic memory, that's remembering, specific events, things that happened,
Oh, okay.
and also semantic memory, which is more about recalling facts and general knowledge.
So, okay, remembering complicated lyrics, yes. But also those really vivid moments from the past that just, poof, reappear when you hear a certain tune. Or even, like some people do, using little jingles or rhythms to memorize lists. That really shows how deep music gets into our memory systems.
And then there's focus and attention. It's pretty clear that certain types of music can genuinely create a better environment for concentration. It kind of acts like a sound barrier, helping to block out distracting noise.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do that without even thinking about it, right? Putting on some instrumental music especially helps get you into that state of flow when you need to concentrate hard. Do you think specific genres work best, or is it really just personal preference?
That's a good question. And while, yeah, personal preference plays a big part, the source does point towards things like classical, ambient music, maybe lo-fi beats. Those seem to be common choices when people need deep focus. The key seems to be music that doesn't have like distracting lyrics or really sudden big changes in dynamics, something that lets your mind stay on task without the music itself pulling your attention away.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, another really interesting angle is how music can lift your mood and cut down on stress. We all kind of know that putting on a favorite song feels good, but there's actual physiology behind it.
Oh, absolutely. Listening to music can trigger the release of dopamine, that's the feel-good neurotransmitter, and it can also genuinely lower levels of cortisol, which is the main stress hormone. What's really fascinating here, I think, is how music can tap into these core neurochemical pathways directly, non-invasively. It's a pretty powerful, accessible tool for managing emotions. It's less about just distraction and more about a kind of physiological reset, building that emotional resilience.
So yeah, using upbeat music for an energy boost when you're dragging, or maybe some calming tunes to wind down before bed, or even, picking up an instrument yourself just to de-stress after a hectic day. It's a really natural, healthy outlet.
And it goes beyond just mood. Music also seems to significantly boost problem solving and even spatial reasoning skills, which kind of raises a question, doesn't it? How does something so artistic also engage our logical and spatial thinking?
It's pretty wild when you think about it. The source explained that when you learn an instrument, or understand music theory, or even just analyze a complex piece, you're engaging in intricate pattern recognition, logical sequencing, and spatial awareness. It's all in there.
Exactly. Think
Huh?
about taking apart a piece of music in your head, right?
Yeah.
Identifying the different parts, how they weave together, or the complex spatial stuff involved in improvising a solo or even composing something new. It's truly a full brain workout. It goes way beyond just the auditory centers.
Which leads nicely into its role in neuroplasticity and potentially brain longevity.
Hmm.
Neuroplasticity being that amazing ability of the brain to constantly reorganize, form new connections, stay flexible.
Precisely. And actively engaging with music, whether that's really listening closely, learning to play, playing, composing it, presents these novel challenges. These challenges stimulate neural growth, they help create new connections, it keeps the brain agile, basically. And this activity, this engagement, could potentially help protect against age-related cognitive decline down the line.
So, okay, practical examples. Learning a new song on the guitar, maybe practicing a tricky vocal part, or really digging deep into the structure of some music you've never heard before. It's about constantly giving your brain something new and complex to chew on. That seems vital for keeping it sharp. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but I'm not a musician. How do I get these perks? And the good news is you absolutely don't need to be some kind of virtuoso. Our source actually lays out some really cool, fun, music-based brain games anyone can try.
Yeah, these are pretty straightforward, engaging exercises. First up, the Melody Memory Challenge. Simple idea. Listen to a short tune, then try to hum it back or just recall the notes in order. You can make it longer or more complex as you improve.
Oh, I like that. Sounds like a fun way to work on auditory memory. Okay, what else?
Then there's rhythm recognition. Try tapping along with a complex rhythm you hear in a song, or maybe try to pick out the different rhythmic patterns happening at the same time within a piece. It really makes you listen actively, dissect the sound.
Right, focusing on the beat and structure. Okay, next.
Next is instrument identification. Just listen to some music, maybe something complex like orchestral or jazz, and try to name every single instrument you can hear. This really sharpens your listening skills, helps you isolate sounds within that whole sonic picture.
Sure, got it. And for people who like words.
Yes. Lyric recall and storytelling. 2 parts here. Either try recalling all the lyrics to a song you love, no cheating, or take an instrumental piece and invent a story in your head that kind of follows the music's mood and how it changes. A nice creative workout connecting different parts of the brain.
That's a cool one. Connects music and narrative. All right, one more.
Last one is musical chairs for your mind. Bit of fun. When the music stops suddenly, try to quickly recall a specific detail about it. Could be the artist, the year it came out, maybe a really prominent instrument you heard. The point is, these are all engaging exercises, and if you do them consistently, they can give your brain a really dynamic workout.
So, okay, we've seen how music itself is this incredible stimulant for the brain. What about taking it a step further? Our source suggests that, while music does amazing things, the brain can really benefit when it has the optimal building blocks and support to process, learn, and adapt even better.
Exactly. This is where the idea of nutritional support comes in. The source discusses the concept that giving your brain the right foundational nutrients might make it more receptive, more efficient, potentially, at harnessing all those benefits music offers.
Right. So the source talks about certain nutritional compounds presented as supporting memory enhancement. It mentions ingredients like Bacopa monnieri, that's an adaptogenic herb used traditionally for cognition, and also phosphatidylserine, which is a key phospholipid for brain cell structure and communication. These are seen as pretty critical for the brain's ability to form, keep, and pull up memories, which, thinking about music, relates to remembering lyrics, patterns, that whole emotional feeling music gives you.
And for cognitive clarity and energy, staying sharp and focused while listening or learning the source mentions a blend. This includes things like theobromine, which you find in cocoa, gives a smoother energy boost than caffeine generally. Also, acetyl L-carnitine, often linked to better cerebral blood flow. And ginkgo biloba, another well-known one for mental energy, may be clearing some brain fog. The idea is to help ensure your mind feels sharp and energized, whether you're deep listening, practicing an instrument, or just fully appreciating the music.
And thinking longer term about neuroprotection and brain health over the years, the source brings up compounds like curcumin phytosome. This specific form of curcumin is presented as offering potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory support, basically helping protect brain cells from damage, contributing to long-term cognitive health. So you can keep enjoying and benefiting from music for, well, hopefully a lifetime.
Yeah, and the source also touches on other supportive strategies, things like fast-acting compounds, acetylcholine, for example, for more immediate mental boosts. And it also stresses the importance of foundational gut-brain health, mentioning probiotics. These are presented as supporting overall mental well-being and even emotional resilience. It really paints a picture of a sort of holistic system for brain wellness, getting synergistic benefits.
Okay, and we absolutely have to include the crucial disclaimer provided in the source material. It states, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Results may vary. Consult your healthcare practitioner before use. Always important. So let's try and wrap this up. Music. It's clearly way more than just enjoyable sounds, isn't it? It's like this profound language that our brains instinctively understand and really seem to thrive on.
That really sums it up well. By consciously bringing music into your daily life, maybe through more mindful listening or trying some of those brain games we talked about, or hey, maybe even finally picking up that guitar that's been gathering dust, you're giving your mind a truly unique and powerful kind of workout.
And as we've explored, there's also the idea that you can potentially support these incredible benefits by focusing on comprehensive cognitive nutrition. So, final thought here. If music truly is a language the brain understands, what new conversations could you start with your own mind just by hitting play?